everyone, welcome to A Godly Home. This is part of the Struggle Meal series going on at City Girl Homestead. So the other day you watched me make some cornmeal mush, and I told you that I would be showing you what I did with those leftovers. Now, if you don't like cornmeal mush and you don't care what I did with the leftovers, stay tuned because I am making 2 breakfasts. And the second one might be something that you're interested in. Now, when we were using this the other day to make the cornmeal mush, and I told you I fry fish in it and make cornbread, it's the Indian Head Stone Brown Yellow Cornmeal. I forgot to tell you something very important about that. The Stone Brown Yellow Cornmeal, this brand, is a whole grain. Okay, so if you get just a regular cornmeal that's not stone ground, that is not going to be a whole grain. And some people need to eat a whole grain, and this one is a whole grain. So that cornmeal mush and what I'm going to do with the leftovers in this recipe today, or this video today, it's a whole grain food, so it sticks with you a really long time. It helps you to feel full, and it breaks down slower digesting, which means it doesn't spike your blood sugar as fast. Okay, let's get going. So you guys have probably been wondering what on earth I was going to do with all of that leftover cornmeal mush. Let me show you. I got a cast iron frying pan heating up over medium heat. I got a little bit of bacon grease in this plate. What this is I'll fry a pound of bacon for the week and just put it in a plate with aluminum foil over it in the fridge, and then we can just take a slice a day from it. And this is just the grease that was pulled up on the plate that I have saved. Let's go ahead and get that grease added to this pan. There, I did the best I could to get it all off of there. Now I stored my cornmeal mush right in the kettle with the cover on because I didn't want to waste any plastic wrap or anything like that if I didn't have to, because, you know, when money is tight, save everywhere you can save. Now, it's funny because Becky had guessed that this would be the way that I was going to use this leftover cornmeal mush. Okay, I'm going to try to get that worked into what looks more like a rectangle. Okay, that one scooped out much better. Much better than the first one. Okay, and there's one piece left that I'm going to give to Sloopy, because Sloopy always eats what we eat. Okay, now there are several ways that you can eat this. You could eat this with some salt and pepper on it and like a little bit of gravy. You could eat it with some butter on top. You could eat it, Becky says, with syrup on top. However you want to do it. I'm going to try it today with the syrup on top, because that's what Becky suggested, and I've never had it like that, and I do have some syrup. And just like with potato hash, we're going to leave this for a bit and just let it do its thing. Okay, while that is still cooking, let's come over here and start getting the rest of our plate ready. I've got a nice Cortland apple here. I'm just going to go ahead slice it up. These are the fresh apples that are in season. They were on sale 99 cents a pound. I've had them for weeks at this point. I bought several bags and made homemade applesauce with them. And then that leaves me some for eating fresh or doing some baking with. I made an apple pudding with some of them also. Okay. Now, I think I flipped the first time a little bit too soon, so I tried to leave it a little longer on the other side. So basically, I'm just going to cook that till it gets golden brown on both sides. And it is going to be a little bit of a process, but it smells so good with that bacon grease in there. Okay, I am going to eat the 2 small ones today and save the large one to be warmed up for breakfast tomorrow. So I had originally said when I made this cornmeal mush that it was 5 servings. But the first day I had it and Sloopy had it. Now the second day I'm having it and Sloopy's having it. That's 4 servings. And then there's 1 left for me tomorrow. So yeah, okay, 5 servings. And here we go with the maple syrup over the top. And here is breakfast number 2. So this is where I'm at. Normally, my husband and I get a package of bacon for the week and we stretch it. And that does our breakfasts all week, using it very carefully. But bacon is almost $7 a pound, and I was able to get the sausage on sale for $4 and something a pound. Actually, I have the receipt right here. Let me take a look. $4.49 a pound, so that was a pretty good savings. But I find it harder to stretch sausage links than like strips of bacon, because it's easy to be like 1 strip of bacon a day or whatever. So I have pre-cooked the sausage. This has got to do all week. Then on the back burner, I have diced up 1 green pepper and 1 onion. And I am going to stretch this for our breakfast too. Like, I'm not going to use all of this at once, but I do want to get it kind of sauteed up because we will eat this same breakfast for a few days. It'll probably do us 4 of those days. I have my 1 piece of cornmeal mush that I browned up yesterday. I will be dropping that into the sausage grease and rewarming that for me today, and then my husband will have some toast with his breakfast. Now I actually have clearly more grease there than I need, so let's save some of it for later, because if we're on a budget, we can't be affording to be wasting grease. So we were able to save, enough grease for another meal. Sausage doesn't produce as much grease, but it does produce some. Okay, those onions and peppers are done. I'm going to go ahead and shut those off. Let's toss my piece of cornmeal mush right down in the pan, and I'm going to throw his toast straight in the pan too, because, we got that grease in there, and why not? He won't even need butter on his toast if I do that. Let's give him 2 toast. Now I'm just going to toss these onions and peppers right into a Okay, I'm going to turn that pan already down to low. Now, I am going to add just a drop of olive oil to this pan. I'd rather have my eggs cooked in olive oil. But add what you got. If you need to use that sausage grease, use it. I'm just going to save it for another meal. Okay, I'm going to start the pan heating up. And I'm going to whisk 3 eggs into the bowl. A little tiny bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and it goes. Okay, once you get all that egg so that it's spread thin enough that it's going to cook right up, then we're going to go ahead and start topping it. This is going to be our omelet. And I am going to put just a little bit of this onion and pepper in there. Doesn't take much, so we got to save some. Then I'm going to take 1 of these sausage links. I'm going to chop that in there. Okay, that's it. The rest is going to get a piece of aluminum foil over it and be put in the fridge. You happen to have this diced tomato left over that needs to be used. So I'm going to put part of that in there and save some for other days. And the thing about an omelet is use what you have. Doesn't have to be what I have. Use what you have. And then because we're stretching, I'm going to add just 1 slice of American cheese over that. Less is more when you're having a struggle meal. Now I got to get it flipped. Okay. And there is the omelet. Okay. And we have toast and we have the cornmeal mush patty. Okay, I'm going to cut this toast in half. I'm going to give him 3/4 of this omelet because he eats more than I do. It doesn't take as much for me to be content. Okay, right out on the plate. Got a few little stragglers here for him. So there's mine. I put some syrup on my cornmeal mush. This was so good yesterday. I can't wait to have this part again today. And thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.